Hey Karen, it's Jim. I wanted to take a moment, get a video out to you, do a review of your site, see if we can give you a hand. Yeah, so it looks like based on what you said on Facebook that your conversions are really low for the number of visitors on your site. I get that you're not getting a lot of visitors right now, but it is quite low for the visitors that you're getting. So let's see what we can do about that. Okay, a couple things I wanted to point out. And first of all, when I make these videos, I really like to shoot from the hip and just be really genuine, because if I just puff up your ego, then it's not going to help you any. And there's some real changes that need to be made that would make a big difference for you. And that's my goal ultimately, is your success in your business. So, okay, let's get to this. On your site, the most critical area of real estate is before the fold. And that means, if you're not familiar, before I scroll down. So right here. So what you see currently on my screen is the most valuable piece of real estate on your site. When someone comes to your site, you have literally less than 2 seconds to make a strong first impression. In that amount of time, they have to know immediately what it is that you do, and then they decide, is this for me? If not, they leave. So if you look at your Google Analytics, you're obviously familiar with the traffic. Take a look and see how quickly people bounce, or how quickly people leave from your site. If they're leaving very, very quickly, that's a sign of a problem. Or if they're not doing a deeper dive into your site, meaning they're not clicking a bunch of different pages and links, that's another problem. Okay, so what that basically means is that you're bringing traffic in that's not a good fit for your brand. In other words, your marketing channels are too wide, and they're not relevant for the people that you're bringing in. So if someone gets to the site, like if I'm a dog guy and I go to a cat site, I'm going to leave because I'm not into cats, right? Just as an example, okay? So that's the first thing to look at. But when they're here, especially if you have the right people, you've got to convey what you do. And unfortunately, you don't do that super well. Now, the thing about slider images like this is you don't have any control over what the image is when they land on the page. You're showing multiple ones. Your brand name is awesome. The domain is awesome. I love that. That is so good. So that's a good first start. But in this area of real estate, you've got to convey what it is that you do. This, like if you had to pick one of the images of all three of these, by far, this is the best one. But it's a little bit difficult to see. There's nothing wrong with the image, but it's just difficult to see because it's kind of all the same color field. Nostalgic journey, traditional toys and games you thought you had forgotten. So that's a really good tagline, but it's kind of lost in obscurity there. It's just not real clear. But also keep in mind that when people land on your site, they may be seeing this. So they may think, well, okay, is she all about wooden trains? Well, maybe, that's conveyed. And then this image is just really low quality. I don't know if you can tell in the video, but on my screen, it's a retina display, which is just a higher pixel density display. And this little baby is very pixelated. It's just not a high quality image. Yeah, so something to keep in mind as well. But okay, let's look at something here. If you go to my blog, it's blog.groovejar.com. This very first link here, how to boost your conversion rate with a killer first impression. I wrote this recently, and it's a deep dive into how to make a really great first impression. And I go into a lot of detail here and also show some positive examples and negative examples. So what I'm saying is that you need a new redesign. I mean, the bottom line is ultimately the site needs to be redesigned. And that can be pricey. So I recommend, there's a company called 99 Designs. I'm not in any way affiliated with them. I've just used them a lot on past projects. But so I would recommend checking them out. They have different levels, but basically you pay a certain amount of money, and the higher end one, which is worth the money in my opinion, is about $1,000. And you're given multiple mock-ups of the site by several different designers. And that can be really helpful in finding a really high quality design. You basically give them ideas and people compete with each other, and you'll get multiple different designs back, which is really fun and a really great way to come up with a really good design. But take a look at this. So this is a before the fold page. In other words, before I scrolled, they use one image that kind of captures the full screen here. Their company name is Toy Shades. You can tell just by the brand that that's what they do. She's wearing shades, confident and assertive looking. One image that is just taking up the full before the fold content. So I'm really a fan of that style. So imagine what you could do with that. So let's just say this whole area was one image. The Forgotten Toy Shop, that's a great brand and a great logo. Even the logo is fine. Have that in your image here. And then have it clear what you do. So you need to convey in an image and in words, in copy, what it is that you do. And you're really on the right track with this right here. So not nostalgic journey, really. I mean, that could be smaller, but traditional toys and games you thought you had forgotten. Or even if you can come up with a word that conveys toys and games. But, that's fairly concise. So you're captivating right there what it is that they do, what it is that you do, and also think about it, you have a powerful opportunity to convey emotions through your brand, because the people buying this, I would imagine, are going to be adults that are kind of, like, maybe they're buying it for their children, but they're reliving their past. So I mean, you have a lot of powerful emotions that you could tap into, and that's going to be critical to your success as well. And we'll get into that on a specific product page. Okay, so let's traditional toys. Let's go into something specific. So okay, there we go. Family games. All right, so let's just take an example. So let's click on this. Okay, I'm just reading here. Yeah, okay, so this is a good example. So on a product page, you need several things. You need high quality imagery, and this is okay. I'm really a fan of the images that you kind of scroll over and it zooms in. This is just a little bit grainy, actually, and it's okay. It's just not great, but it's okay. And so that's important. High quality imagery is important. The copy is really important. Think about it. You need to convey two things: specifications, right? Details about the game. It's this size, the pieces that are made out of this, whatever details there are about the game. But before that, you need to convey benefits. So think about the emotions behind it. And sell to one specific person. Imagine your target person, right? And imagine like you're writing to one person in all of your copy. So using the word you're talking to one person. So think about, let's just say it's a lady. What are the emotional benefits? Tell story. In your copy, tell story. Oh, I remember playing with Grandpa, backgammon or whatever. And spend time writing that. Capture those emotions. Think about the emotional words. What do people feel when they play this? What are the emotions? People buy with emotions, not with specifications. So look at this example. A simple hand wash gel, right? You wouldn't think this would be a big deal. They have the details about what's in it and things like that. But read this right here. You can pause the video. But one whiff of this soothing sea scent, and you may be inspired to stand on the bow of a sailing ship with your arms outstretched like a bird flying towards the shore. So they're captivating your emotions in this and providing powerful imagery. And it's just soap we're talking about. So that's the kind of power that you can have in using emotional-based copy. So I definitely encourage you to really meditate on that and think about what you could do to improve your copy and to sell with emotion. Okay, the last thing is reviews. On Amazon, if I go to Amazon and something doesn't have reviews, I don't buy it. If it has bad reviews, I don't buy it. So you want to display reviews on the page. Okay, I'm glad you have a review widget. My company, GrooveJar, we have a widget like this, so I'm obviously a big fan of them. But I like the idea of having specific reviews on specific pages of that product. I'm a big fan of that. And I don't know verified reviews. So are these just reviews of your company? I'm a little confused about what this is. Yeah, it looks like it is. Okay, great. That's awesome. So I would just find a way to get reviews of specific products. I know that's going to take time, and it may even be worth it to kind of hone down on the specific products that you want to sell. Having too many is sometimes not good either. But then incentivizing people to leave reviews. Hey, they just bought this. Offer them some sort of a future coupon or some sort of benefit to write a review, and even just follow up with them. Don't take them ignoring you as a no. Take it as just they're busy. Follow up with them and ask them for a review, and then start putting those reviews on these product pages. That'll really help a lot. Okay, so let's go to, you have an about page? Let me see if I can find it. 1 second. Yeah, this is great, Karen. I like the, so my first suggestion is always to have a picture of yourself here, because people connect with people and buy from people. Aesthetically, this is a little bit off. Like, I love Meet the Owner. I would just incorporate this into like one page rather than having this section and then this section. Super fun idea to have a picture of yourself as a kiddo. I would love to see a picture or two over here of you smiling, maybe even like playing with some toys or something as an adult. That would be really engaging, and that builds trust and credibility. It says to me that you're going to stand behind your brand, that you back up what you sell, and that's important. So I'm really a big fan of that. I would make this text here one notch bigger, the font. I'm a fan of larger font because it's easier to read, encourages readability. A lot of white space is good. This is fine. I would just make it the font larger. Yeah, so that's where I would go with this page. I think you're well on your way there. Okay, let's go back and talk about one more thing on your homepage. So once you do, the most important things to do are the things we talked about, right? To make sure that you're really conveying quickly what it is that you do. After that, you can get into the finer points of conversion optimization, and that's my area of expertise. So the blog I showed you, that's my company, GrooveJar.com. We have a number of different apps. One of them we have is an email collection pop-up. It's based on a countdown timer and converts really, really well. So if you think about it, when someone comes to your site, the most valuable the most valuable asset you have is their attention. When they're on your site and then leave, if you don't have an email address from them, you have no way of following up with them to captivate their attention again or to work them down your sales funnel. They're just gone. So when you have their email, you can nurture that relationship, build trust, offer coupons, work towards moving them from a lead to a paying customer. So it's really, really important to do. Like I said, we have tools on our site to do that. We have a free trial. You don't need to use my company. I just recommend that you do it, that you set it up with somebody. Another really great company is SumoMe. Another one is Privy. There's lots of these tools out there, but the point is to implement them and then perfect them and going on that. But don't start that until you work on a few of these details on your site, even if it's as simple as, like, I get that you may not be able to afford a complete redesign, Karen, and that's fine. But even just figuring out a really good image to put here, freezing this so it's not on a slider, and then including this bit of copy here on what it is that you do, that alone will make a difference. Also keep in mind, when you test these things, make it a clear distinction on the date when you did this, so you can actually test your conversion rate, from one month to the other or whatever, so you can see. And another element is you're going to have at least a certain amount of traffic to be able to really give this a fair test anyway. When your traffic is low, it's not really a strong predictor. I mean, you need a certain baseline of traffic to be able to see if there's a notable difference. But I can tell you that the things I mentioned are going to be important to helping increase that conversion rate number. So, okay, Karen, I want to be mindful of your time and not make this video too long. Please let me know if you have any specific questions or want to take a deeper dive with anything. We can definitely chat further. All right, take care.